Welcome to Resilient Minds 365, where we discuss the resilient stories of entrepreneurs, professionals, and students with mental illnesses to encourage you to strive, thrive, and live in abundance. I'm your host, Cleone Crawford. Welcome to Resilient Minds 365, where we discuss the resilient stories of entrepreneurs, professionals, and students with mental illnesses to encourage you to strive, thrive, and live in abundance. I'm your host, Cleone Crawford. All right, guys, we have a special guest with us today, all the way from Durham, North Carolina. We have Kijuan Amey with us today. So who is Kijuan Amey? Well, Kijuan Amey is the visionary behind Amey Motivation, hails from Durham, North Carolina, where his journey of resilience and success began. After graduating from Southern High School, he dedicated a decade of his life to the U.S. Air Force, achieving the rank of Staff Sergeant as an In-flight Refueling Specialist. Medically retired, he transitioned into academia, earning a degree and founding Amey Motivation LLC. Formerly served as the vice president for the Carolina Regional Group of the Blinded Veterans Association, Kijuan is also a mentor and ambassador for the Air Force Wounded Talents, boasting over 25 years of drumming expertise, on-stage acting, and now and on May 5th, 2017, when a motorcycle accident claimed his eyesight, yet armed with an inspiring story of overcoming adversity, Kijuan has become a motivational force, empowering others to reach their highest potential. Whether addressing a crowd of 1,500 or engaging in one-on-one sessions, Kijuan is well equipped for any speaking engagement. He's not just a speaker, he's a catalyst for transformation, ready for the task at hand. Ahead. So you can also contact him at 919-808-4348 or at kijuan@ameymotivation.com. So with that said, I now present to you Kijuan Amey. How you doing, Kijuan?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. I can't complain.
That's awesome.
I just get
You shouldn't be able to complain just getting back from Nigeria.
I know. I'm not complaining at all. The weather was so beautiful. It was
Yeah.
hot. It was wonderful. Unlike Canada, which is cold.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I'm very thankful. I had a great trip.
that's
So,
awesome. I'm glad you did.
yeah, definitely. So,
And
Kiwa,
you got to go do something that I'm passionate about. Music.
yeah, definitely. I got a chance to sing. I got to sing a cover for a song from Israel Houghton. Not sure
Oh
if,
yeah, I know him.
yeah, I sung The Power of One.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, with a little freestyle in it. I
Nice.
freestyle, so I did some freestyle rapping in the middle.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Kiwan, tell us a little bit more about your profession, what you do, how'd you get started? What's it, break it down for us.
Yeah, so as you all heard her with my bio, I started Amey Motivation after my motorcycle accident that caused me to lose my eyesight, along with a couple of other things, and suffered from a traumatic brain injury and spinal cord injury as well. Um, and so I was one that was always, that go-getter, that one that always had to be doing something. I was, in the military, I was always on the road or taking somebody's, trip. Or if they couldn't go, I don't mind, I'll go. That's fine. So when I couldn't do that stuff anymore because of the accident, it really kind of well, first off, it hurt me,
Yeah.
because I couldn't do what I was doing, because I was passionate about it. And then to be knocked down so hard, and I mean, when I say hard, I mean knocked out, and not just from the motorcycle accident, but from what all I was achieving at the time, because I was in the military, as you all heard, but I also was a CEO of my own business and I was going to school full time to get my degree. All three of those things I was doing at one time.
Wow.
And so I told you, go get her. I had to get it out, knock it out. And so when I would wake up in the hospital due to this accident, I'm like, yo, what is going on here? Why is this what happened to me? Why am I not able to see anything? I don't know what's going on. Like I'm literally lost. And that's kind of an understatement to say the least, to be honest. And
Mhm.
so um fast forwarding a little bit, I had to figure something out because sitting around was not something that I do very well. I have to do something. Whether if I'm sitting in the house, I'm not sitting idle. So my brain is functioning somehow, whether that's emails, whether that's trying to figure out what I'm doing for my business, or anything, trying to mentor, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to figure something out. And so as I'm telling my story about my motorcycle accident to various people, friends, family, others in between, everybody, they're just like, man, you got to do something. You got to write a book. You got to, get on stages, go tell this to different people, high schools, colleges, whatever it is, man. You just got to get your story out there because you're so motivational. How are you still able to smile? How are you still able to get up every day? Me, I would, and this is them. Me, man, I'd still be in the bed. I wouldn't even want to get up. I said, that's the problem. I wanted to. So I had a will to get up.
Mhm.
And so the thing was, it was hard to keep me in the bed. And they were trying to like they were making me do things that I didn't want to do. Even in the hospital, my bed alarm would be going off because I'm doing stuff I'm not supposed to be doing, you know. And so uh after these people are telling me all this stuff, write a book, we gotta put you on stages. I'm like, well, how do I get there?
Mhm.
And they're like, let's see. You could do Toastmasters, you could do this, you could do that, NACA and all these. I'm like, I don't know how to do that, you know? And so this, again, this is uncharted territory at the time. And so, you know, Amey Motivation wasn't created at that moment, but it was at that moment. And what I mean by that is the paperwork wasn't done, but the person was. The
Mhm.
person was already created. The person had been created on May 5th, 2017, when that motorcycle accident happened,
Mhm.
but the paperwork wasn't filed until 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, so my business, being a motivational and keynote speaker is, yes, it's a probably based off of my story of the accident, but it goes way beyond that because I can talk to you about so much more than just what happened to me. I can tell you about how I overcame it. I can tell you about why I overcame it because those are two different questions. And
Mhm.
I can also give you insight on what made me want to because I didn't want to be that person that just laid around. I go, listen, I've been traveling just like you. I just haven't went international yet. I'm trying to, but I have been traveling just like you, jumping on airplanes and going all over the country from literally from East Coast to West Coast. I've been to Washington State. I'm hoping to go to California here in August.
Mhm.
Just I'm all over the place. Florida, Texas, I'm everywhere. Nevada, wherever I can, I'm trying, so hopefully I can get to Canada.
Yeah,
So yeah, and so my I guess you can say thought process is the only thing that can stop you is you.
that's right.
And I heard a quote today. Actually, it was just today, this morning. And I heard this elderly lady, she made this quote, ooh wee. When I heard it, I said I gotta keep that one. Because this one I don't think I can let this one go. But she said she was gonna start trying to become vegan and try to do this, try to do that. And then she had to realize something. She was like, that word try leaves room for failure. And
Yes.
when she said that, I said, woo, she is speaking, and she said, we gotta take that word try out because that leaves room for failure. And when I heard her say that, I said, exactly. We all know Nike, and I'm not sponsored by them. They can endorse me if they like to. But Nike doesn't say just try it. They
No,
say just do it.
really.
There's as I say all the time in the gym when I'm in the gym working out and whoever I'm in there with, they're having a hard time or they sound like they're giving it their all. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. And that's what I tell them. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. You just got to do it. And so that's what I did with my business. I just started doing it. I started speaking. I started, recording myself. I started um, going around the world doing mentoring, ambassadorship. Uh, I'm even doing ministry, but it's in, I'm not an ordained minister or nothing like that, but you get me talking about the Lord and it's on. It's one of those things. I just fall right into it. I can't stop. And so uh that's just me right now and how it came about. So
Cool. Exciting. Love it.
yeah.
All right. So now that we know a little bit about your profession, we're gonna dive into the mental health part of the interview of this interview.
Mhm.
So my first question to you is what is your mental health diagnosis and when were you diagnosed?
So I was diagnosed. I mean, you could have said right at the scene of the accident, but officially on paper, I was diagnosed in 2020. It was either 2020 or 2021.
Mm, around COVID
And
time.
and hear me, my accident was 2017.
Right.
That's a long time in it
Yeah.
for somebody that got smacked into a car. Uh, so I had a traumatic brain injury, severe. And I'm pretty sure the doctors knew I did. They gave me that diagnosis at the hospital, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at my brain. They literally had to cut me from ear to ear to relieve the swelling on my brain. So, and insert two metal plates in my head. So there's definitely they knew I had severe, traumatic brain injury to a degree where I would lose some memory, mainly short term, but then I also was diagnosed with PTSD,
Yes.
post-traumatic stress disorder. Um, I kind of self-diagnosed myself before the doctors did
Yeah.
because I found myself on the way to church white knuckling a door handle, and I didn't know why. I didn't even realize I was doing it at first until my hand started hurting. But I
Mm.
was holding on to a door handle so tight, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what was that all about?" And then that day, I was like, I don't know, I'm just being crazy. But I noticed I started doing it every time at that same spot.
Oh, I
And
see.
what it was is it was because you know how when you make a left turn going across traffic at
Yeah.
like a traffic light,
Uh-huh.
well, going across traffic, I could hear cars coming. And if I can hear a car coming, it now makes me feel like I need to protect myself
Yes.
because I was hit by one.
Right.
So that was, that post-traumatic stress. I still have the PTSD. It's just not as bad. Because I tend to try to tune certain things out. That's
Okay.
what I do. I try to tune it out. Sometimes now I'm riding in the car with AirPods in. Like for example, on the way to church, I I have AirPods in my ear because I'm listening to the worship songs that we have to do that for that day.
Okay.
So I can get my mind, already spun up on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't even hear what's going on. Unless we're hitting bumps in the road, I'm not paying attention. I'm just kind of zoned out, relaxed because I can drive. My mom's driving. So I'm just chilling, you know, enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what my mental health is.
Okay. All right. So the next question I have for you is to tell us a little bit more about your mental health story of resilience. What did you have to overcome? What did you go through? Break it down for us chronologically, I guess.
Oh, I hope I can do this chronologically. Well, I kind of already gave you the PTSD side of it, what I just told you about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sheesh. In the hospital, it's kind of interesting because in the hospital, I really was just like really coming back, and with all the medication, I was in a medically induced coma to begin with. So
Mm-hmm.
from May 5th until June the 6th, I don't know, I didn't even know I was still alive. So I was kind of coming out of that fog. The first like I don't know, couple of weeks maybe, because I'm still taking these medications too, not just coming off the anesthesia or whatever they had dripping, but taking oxy, I don't recommend. I mean, yeah, they say it's good for pain. Hey, listen, I'll take the pain. And by the way, they do have other pain medications that are not,
Addictive.
I'm sorry, say again.
Addictive.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of the word for it. What's the name of the word that they're listed under?
Oh, narcotics.
Well, yeah, narcotics, but it's a different word. But anywho, if it hits me, I'll say it.
Okay.
But yeah, so no, something epidemic. I just did it. Opioids.
Opioid. Yeah,
Aha.
opioids.
Opioids. So opioids are not, you don't have to take opioids just to feel relaxed. Oxy, all it does is really just make your mind not think about it. It's not even doing anything to the pain. That's
Mm-hmm.
what Oxy does. Just so everybody knows, it just takes your mind away from it. It
Mm.
doesn't even do anything for the pain. So it makes your brain foggy so that you don't think about the pain.
Wow.
Trick. It's a magic trick.
Hmm.
I'd say I told them quickly. I wrote this in my book, by the way. I said, "Take me off of it,"
Yes,
and they were like, "Wait, what, sir?" Well, first off, the nurse was like, "Sir, I can't do that." I was like, "Oh, we'll find somebody who can."
that's right.
I'm not. If you can't do it, find somebody who can. All I said is take me off of it. I don't care how you do it. I need to be on something else. And then that's when they put me on naproxen, which is
Mhm.
not an opioid, but it's for pain.
Okay.
So, see, so y'all do have alternatives, but y'all don't offer those because those don't cost as much as the opioids.
Mhm.
Y'all trying to rack up my bill, giving me these. I don't know how much opioids cost. They probably like 2,500 a pill, something like that. Crazy.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm sure it's crazy. I
My
wish you could see some hospital bills. Well, mine personally was almost $1 million, like 980 something.
days.
Yeah, it was like 980 something thousand. And when you add in my dental bill, that's bam, a million because it was 20. And that's after uh the insurance paid their part.
Right.
So before insurance pays their part, it's more than that. So I was all, hello, I'm $1 million man, everybody. Just so you know, you're talking to one. I'm a
Yeah.
millionaire. I'm a millionaire in a different way. I walk around with mine. Don't kidnap me, please. You won't get anything for it. Uh,
Exactly.
but yeah, so that was kind of how I woke up in the hospital, just groggy, trying to figure out where I was, trying to figure out what happened. Glad to see people, but I'm like, I can't see you. You know, I'm
Yes.
glad to see you, but I can't see you. And
Mhm.
so, uh, I don't get me wrong, and I say this a lot. If you ever have someone, and this is not just to you, this is to anybody listening or watching this. If you ever have someone that you know that goes through something and they're in a hospital, some kind of rehab, any kind of facility that they can receive visitors, please, and I'm begging, please go visit them
Yes.
because we want to see you.
Yes.
I know so many people that were like, I can't see him like that, man. I can't see him like that. It hurts me to see him like that. It hurts me that you didn't come.
Exactly.
So now we're both hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I get off my soapbox because that really does bother me when people are, and they always ask well, how's he doing? Why don't you come see for yourself?
Oh, exactly.
And I told the last person that came to my hospital room said, well, so and so asked about you. I said, yeah, you said that last time. When they gonna come up here? It was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, they said they can't see you like that. I said, well, you stop telling them how I'm doing and see how they
Exactly.
feel then. Because you're not an errand boy, you're not a messenger boy. No, no. Stop telling them how I'm doing.
Let them find out for
Tell them to come see me for themselves because you're doing their dirty work right now.
them.
But
Agreed.
yeah, yeah, I'm sorry that just got real, but I have to get that stuff off me because I'm telling you, like that just it just takes me back to those times, and to the point where I even had the young lady I was dating ghosted me,
Wow.
straight ghosted me. She
Yeah.
used to stand me up on days that she said she would come visit. Um, give me last minute notices or no notice. And I'm like, hey, I thought you were coming today. Oh, yeah, well, my daughter, she had pictures today. Listen, now I remember being in school. On picture day, you knew your child had pictures. You had that for a month, maybe even a week long. You knew when your child, it wasn't just last minute, oh Lord, she got pictures. No, because you sent that child to school looking like something.
Exactly.
So don't lie to me about coming to see me later on in the day. This ain't even beginning, early in the morning. This is later in the day. You knew. Uh, I tell you, man. So my mental was all over the place, to say the least. I'm at the highs of the highs, the lows of the lows. I'm all over the place. I did have some, depressed moments. That was one of them. Um, people stopped being coming by. The visits stopped being so frequent. Um, and then that turned into, suicidal ideations. I'm thinking about what am I here for? What's the point? I might as well just end it. What's the point? There's no reason. And what people have to realize is that when it comes to suicidal thoughts, it's not like we're people who think these thoughts anyway. They're not like the worst people in the world. The thing is, they just want the negativity to end. That's what they're trying to do. They want the negativity to end.
Right.
It's not to say they don't love you. It's not to say they don't love what they used to have. It's to say they want the negativity that they're going through right now to just end.
Right.
So I wish people would stop putting such a negative light on that person and instead help them. Because it's not the person, it's the moment. I had that moment. But if you see me now compared what you are compared to what I was during that time, two totally different people.
Yes.
But it's because I got through that moment.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I said something the other day. I'm trying to see if it could come back to memory. So we were talking about, just suicidal thoughts or even just being depressed. If a person who sounds depressed every time you call, or just sounds like they're in, a bad rut, whatever case, if they sound that way every time you call, and you're just like, God, here we go. I gotta talk to them again. Oh, what if you're the only person that's answering the phone?
Mm.
What if you don't take that call?
They
And the
might.
next phone call you get is from one of their family members.
My
telling
God.
you that they took their life. Just think about that. And that's what I said the other day because I thought about that. I was like, what if I had nobody to talk to? What if I had nobody to call? I'm a faith believer and I can do that all day. I could say, yo, like, hell, just talk to Jesus, call on Jesus. Hey, listen, man, me and Jesus cool, but every now and then I want somebody standing there with me.
Yes, a friend.
I want somebody on that phone with me. You know what I mean? So and I had that moment before. I did. I've had it in my own life. And thank God for my uncle. He came through that day. Got out of his nice cozy bed, but took off the slippers and put on some clothes, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely appreciate him for that, because that was a hard moment. And my grandma, the whole scenario I just gave you was basically what happened, you know. Call on Jesus. Grandma, I'm praying enough. You know, I feel like I'm praying enough. Me and Jesus be talking all the time. I don't go nowhere.
Right, right, right.
I don't go nowhere. I'm in the four walls. Where I'm going. So
I hear you. That makes sense. So my next question to you is, what did you have to do to overcome or bounce back from your low points? List all the resources that were applicable.
ooh,
Music therapy.
listen, music therapy is a huge, I am a huge advocate for music therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Music that you play into your spirit will change your outcome.
Yes.
Hear me clearly now. And I know y'all can hear me now because I'm more in the mic. But that music therapy, it can help you. If you're playing negative music, guess how your life gonna feel? It's gonna feel negative. But if you start to play that positive, that vibing, that soulful, that neo soul, you start playing stuff like that, you're gonna start feeling that positivity that's coming off those vibes and those, the melodic, just sound waves that are coming through. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna feel it. It's gonna penetrate. But listen, I've been a huge proponent all my life for music. I love live music.
Yeah.
I love it. I sing with a group now, a gospel quartet group now. And we got two singers coming up here soon, one March 15th and one March 29th. And I I love it. Give me a microphone. I mean, I do play at my church every Sunday when I'm home. Um, but man, I can sing too. It's not my number one. That's the number one for sure because I've been doing that since I was 7.
Mm-hmm.
You
Good.
know, but I can hold a note too, you know.
Okay.
But so music therapy is one, mental therapy is another. Um, I recommend mental therapy too. Uh, but this is a funny one, but it's also true. For those, especially in the U.S., those southern, churches. Maybe northern. I don't know much about the north. I know about the south and when it comes to the US. When we go to church, we think that's our mental therapy for the week. Listen, I'm here to tell you that when you go to mental therapy, these people are trained. They're skilled and they have degrees in this stuff. You hear me? And yes, this is my southern accent. So this is where you need to go to a licensed therapist
Yes.
so that they can treat you like you're supposed to be treated for your mental problems. Okay?
Okay.
Um, Speaking of which, I still till today go to mental therapy because it helps. Not because I'm crazy or anything. It's because it helps.
Yes.
It helps. The more you hold this stuff in, the more it is basically turning up so it's like take a pot of water, full pot of water, sit it on the stove, and just turn it on just a little bit, not a lot. But if you continue to increase that temperature, but whatever you got in there in that pot, the higher you go, the more that water's going to start to boil. And what this boiling causes to do, it's going to start to spill out.
Right.
These things that are inside of you are going to start to come out at some point.
That's so
At
true.
some point, you're going to hit what they call a boiling point,
Yes.
and you're going to explode over. Mental therapy helps you avoid that. They're trying to give you tools, coping mechanisms, outs, you know. And so that's just something that I do, and a family too, I definitely, love to hang out with family as long as they're having fun. And I don't do all the crazy stuff no more. I don't do the crazy stuff I used to no more, so I'm not doing that.
Okay, great. So the next question I have for you is, what are three things you wish you had available when you were at your lowest point?
Three things I wish I had available at my lowest.
Hmm.
Hmm. At my lowest point, I was not able to play drums,
Okay.
because I wasn't sturdy enough yet. Like I was still using a wheelchair at that time, actually. I wasn't even able to hold myself up like that because my core had been damaged with the spinal cord surgery um and being in a hospital bed for over a month. Like you lose when they say you don't use it, you lose it. It's true. I lost all my muscle. I lost all of it. And I couldn't even walk. I had to learn how to walk again, both my legs being broken and stuff like that. So I couldn't play my drums, my babies. I call those my babies.
Mhm.
Couldn't do that. And I would love to have that. The ability to drive, that is one thing I would have loved to have had when I was at my lowest, because I just get out and drive.
Mhm.
And even though I had a motorcycle accident, I wish I could have been able to ride
Yes.
because that was freeing.
Yes.
I felt free when I
Yeah.
was on that bike. And so, yeah, I wish I could have had that.
Okay, cool. And what words of hope would you give to our listeners? What would you tell to someone who's been in your shoes?
Oh man. So I'll tell you two quotes here. My quote is the first one I'll give you. I may have lost my sight, but I did not lose my vision. And
Mm.
my vision was always to help others. And I still do that to today. I do it through motivational speaking. I do it through mentoring. I do it through playing drums because that's a ministry. You know, anything, any way I can help, I try. I'm sorry. I told you guys I don't do the try thing anymore. I
Right.
do.
I do.
So any way I can, I will do. If I can do it, I will do it. And so that's one quote. Another one that I live by is my situation does not define who I am. I define who I am.
Cool.
So don't let anybody put labels on you, is what that means. You create the label.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So on my screen, on my virtual background, you'll see that there's actually a book that says The Music of My Life. It's my memoir that I wrote about my journey with music therapy and bipolar disorder. So my question to you, so we're going to do a switch in the interview. My
Mhm.
question to you is, what type of music do you like?
Well, as you heard already, I am a part of a gospel quartet group. So I love gospel. I love quartet.
Yeah.
I also, as a child, I grew up in the 90s. So I grew up on R&B as well.
Yes.
R&B was really popular in the 90s. So I definitely grew up on some R&B, and I'm a dancer. I got a
Ah,
lot of dancers in my family. So pop, grew up on the Michael Jacksons, the Ushers, the Omarions, the Chris Browns, those types of people.
Hmm.
Um, Chris Brown, speaking of him, I know his choreographer personally.
Wow.
We went to school together, middle school and high school. So I know him personally. Yeah, so legitimately.
Cool, cool. All right. So with that said, if you were to think of a song that best describes your journey, what would it be and why?
Best describes my journey.
Mm-hmm.
He turned it by Ty Tribbett.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, he turned it by Ty Tribbett.
He turned it. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. And why?
So my situation, personally could have been the end of me,
Yes.
but he turned it.
Amen.
What the devil meant for my bad or evil, God turned it around for my good.
That's right.
And so I'm usually using my situation as not a stepping stone. I'm going to use it as a pole vault, as a catapult.
Yeah.
I'm getting over everything. I'm going high, not just walking over it. I'm going to shoot over that sucker. Okay.
All
So
right.
that's what I mean by he turned it. What the devil meant for evil, God turned it around for my good.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So, brother Kijuan, how can we stay in touch with you? What are your social media handles?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I'll tell you my website because it has all my social media handles embedded in it.
Mm-hmm.
So my website is amymotivation.com. That's AMEY motivation.com. And all of my social media handles on there, like I said, are embedded. The Facebook, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, the Twitter, I believe also is on there as well. But all of this, you should be able to just type in my first and last name of Kijuan Amey, Kijuan Amey, and you should be able to find me on all those social media handles. Also, my book is on my website as well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't focus on why me from motorcycle accident to miracle. That can be found on there. And if you want to book me for personal speaking engagements and conferences and what have you, that link is on there as well.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, Kiwan, it was definitely a pleasure having you as a guest on our show. Um, and to all you resilient minds out there, until next time, please subscribe to us on all our platforms and don't forget to rate the show and leave a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Also, join the community of resilient minds and sign up for our monthly newsletter at www.onlycleone.com. Be sure to grab a copy of my book, The Music of My Life, on all Amazon marketplaces to get to know me better. If you can think of one person that will receive value from today's show or connect with Kiwan's testimonial, please share it with them. Feel free to take a screenshot of this week's episode of the podcast and tag us on Instagram. You can tag myself at Only Cleone or Resilient Minds 365 and today's guest at Kijuan Amey Motivation, I think.
Oh, you talking about the email?
The Instagram.
Oh, Instagram, yes, at Kijuan Amey.
Yeah, at Kijuan Amey. And remember, mental health is not a death sentence. Despite your illness, you can strive, thrive, and live a life of abundance. Until next time, I'm Cleone Crawford, and I'm signing off.